There are two things I want to talk about today. The first are these two videos that were recently made regarding lifting and cycling, and lifting in terms of improving your cycling. One was done by Dylan Johnson, the other by Trainer Road. Oh yes, hey cycling community, this is Steve Crucis, the Cycling Greek. There were a number of takeaways that I got from these two videos, and some of them actually confirmed what I was doing, and there was one that actually helped me to improve what I was doing. The first is, you need 10 working sets a week in order to optimally improve. And that, of course, does not include your warm-up sets. And that these 10 sets should be done during 2 sessions per week. And each of the sessions should be separated by 2 non-lifting days. Now, when I'm talking about lifting, in this case, I'm talking about lower body lifting. On 3 or 4 of those other days, I'm doing the various upper body splits. Now, in terms of the amount that you should be lifting, they recommend doing between 60 and 80% of your max. Although 1 session a month, I'll go and test my max. Now, in terms of reps per set, they recommend 4 to 6. And fortunately, that's what I do too. Another item that was stated was that recovery from endurance training happens much quicker than recovery from lifting. So because of that, you should cycle first, then go lift. Because of the substrates that need to be replenished from your ride, they recommend 3 hours between the time you get off the bike and when you do your first set. Now, usually I was doing about 90 minutes, depending on what my timing was. But now I'm waiting for 3 hours. At least I'm trying to wait for 3 hours. It's easier to do on the weekend, on my weekend lifting, but on my midweek lifting, yeah, it's going to be a bit tight. If I can get at least 2 hours, that'll be great. Another item that was mentioned is that lifting is anabolic. It builds muscle, while cycling breaks down muscle. It's catabolic. That's why nutrition is so important. Even though lifting builds muscle, it does it by breaking down the muscle, and so when it rebuilds, it builds back quicker. But the only way it can rebuild is if you have the appropriate raw materials there that are existing in protein. So that's why, especially now during the off season when I'm doing this lifting, I make sure I have ample amounts of protein cruising throughout my body. So those are 2 great videos. I'm going to have them linked below. So now number 2, I'm going to give you a home tour of my gym. I've changed. Actually, this is the next day. I was shooting the first part toward the end of the day the other day, and it was getting too dark, so I thought, I'll wait till the next day when it's going to be a lot lighter. So, this is the tour of my gym setup. Now you can see it takes some room here. It takes about half of a bay in my garage. Now this setup cost me around $1,700 to $1,800. So let's start with the bench. The other one was flat that I had, so I replaced it, and this one I can adjust. Cage here obviously is the centerpiece. And so what comes with the cage are a couple pieces such as the bar holders here and the safety bars here. The weight holders that you see, those are separate. That's a separate package. And the pulley system here for pull downs and that down there. So I wish I could adjust this so I can move it up here, for example, and I could do rows straight across, but I can't. And I can get something fancier that does that, but fancier means more money. So this works out for me. This is about a 1/4 inch, and pretty easy to install. There's an accessory package that I got with these pieces here. This came with it. I don't use this as much, but everything else I do, that was separate. Now, this here for doing bar dips and similar, this is part of the package that came with the cage. Now, these down here, I absolutely love these. Before I was using the weights and putting them on a separate dumbbell bar, but that took a lot of time. That was a hassle. I love this stuff. Easy to adjust for the bigger plates, and then there's adjustments for the smaller plates in here. Yeah, there's 2.5s here, so you can have 1 of them or 2 of them or none of them. And again, easy to work with. I think this whole thing with the stand was about $375 or so. Okay, that's the tour of my home gym. I love going to the gym, but I stopped going to the gym because of COVID, and COVID never really went away enough for me to be comfortable with going back to the gym. So I decided to get this, and I thought, okay, I'm going to miss seeing people and so forth, but man, I love doing this. I can come out here whenever I want and do whatever I want. Hope you enjoyed this video. And check out those 2 videos I was talking about earlier in the video. And as always, remember, because it helps the channel, comment, like, subscribe, the Cycling Greek.